Hi, welcome back to the next episode of the Cypher Talk. We're your co-hosts, Devin.
And I'm Sydney May.
Today, we're joined by a very special guest who's not only well-known and respected in the dance community, but also in the industry as a whole. He's a former board president and executive director of Culture Shock LA and former president of Culture Shock International, the founder of Kaba Modern, a proud member of the Kinjaz, and even a doctor of occupational therapy, while also guiding the next generation of leaders through his global programs, leadership tools for the dance leader, and roots before branches. Please welcome Arnel Calvario.
Yay! Yeah. So welcome, Arnel. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
It's good to be here. Proud of y'all. Yes.
So we've known you for so long, ever since we joined Culture Shock. I was 5. How old are you?
I was 6. I think I was 6 or 7. That's
and
crazy.
we're both 17 now, which is like
Yes.
crazy.
More than 10 years
Yeah.
ago. Wow.
You've been a
Yeah.
huge part of our dance journey and seen us grow throughout the years. And have been such a big mentor to us, honestly, and
Yes.
like for not just us, but so many other people too. So our first question is, for context, can you share a little bit about your dance journey?
Oh, okay. Well, okay. So when I was your age, when I first met you, my access to dance was, we didn't have social media. We didn't even have music videos yet, right? So for me to learn dance, I actually rode my bike to the park at the community center, and there was some OGs there that were teaching top rocks, locking, hip hop, social dances. So everything I learned was from my neighborhood, from the community center, from the family parties, right? There are definitely no mirrors, so like we're each other's mirror. So you kind of have to look. You learn from someone in front of you, someone next to you, from just exchanging energy. And I think what is a parallel from the park to like our upbringing as like Filipino Americans is that respect for elders. That's like respect for your OGs. It's like such a familiar feeling. So the culture that I was experiencing from like Mexican and Black OGs there, very, very similar to like my older cousins, my uncles, you know. But yeah, I really loved dance from very, very little. Also, my parents like grew up doing Filipino cultural dancing, and so like from elementary all the way to high school, I was doing Filipino cultural dancing, and my auntie LV was one of the main choreographers for this dance company called Kaimana ng Lahi, which is based like near UCLA. And so me and my cousins were voluntold, to learn all the cultural dances, which I, at the time I was like, why do we have to dance every weekend? I want to go to play, you know. But later on, I really like value, especially like in high school and in college. I was like, this like learning our culture is such a cool thing, right? And I realized learning cultural dances, with my cousins from my aunt, I learned structure, teamwork, costuming, like all those things, listening to music, musicality. I learned that. So the combination of my neighborhood upbringing combined with my Filipino culture dancing, I think really shaped how I enjoy dance. So by the time I got to high school and like now your guys' age, I made my own crew, with my friends, and we were like, we're gonna enter talent shows. I was in this thing called Key Club, and which is like a volunteer organization, and so they would have a convention, and we would enter the talent contest, and that was kind of my first taste of like competition, you know what I mean, and putting it together something that's not just for fun, but also like, we gotta make it like appeal to an audience and also have some kind of shape and structure. But I would say what prepared us for those was the house parties, because in high school you're like you'd prepare commandos, and the battles were now like choreographed,
Right.
like dances at the parties. So, which is different than the locking, breaking battles I grew up with elementary. So I think all of those combined kind of shaped and prepared me for creating Kaba Modern, like in college, which is like later.
I remember you talking about, I was like looking at one of your like old podcasts with someone else, and you said that like in your neighborhood, those people, like the OGs, they really invested in the youth.
Yeah.
Did you see them as your mentors?
I did at the time, and it's funny because some of them ended up going to like Homeland in Long Beach, and so I saw them there as well. Like Iceman's one of the main guys at Homeland. Zulu Gremlin was over there as well, and a Lollipop Sanchez, and a whacker named Dallas was there. There were so many like incredible people who, from all parts of LA, ended up like I found them again at Homeland, and so. But definitely the most influential OG for me personally is Don Campbell, the creator of Locking.
Right.
Yeah, that's like my most influential, where that kind of really changed the trajectory of like what I wanted to do with dance, and also how I moved with Culture Shock too, which later on, by the time you got there, that all those influences were already part of the culture. So yeah, Don Campbell is like a big mentor. And so how I met Don is pretty interesting.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
So when we were in Culture Shock, and I know we're going to talk about Culture Shock later, but it was interesting because I was directing Culture Shock as an executive director, but I also, as a dancer, wanted to also be challenged and fed as well. So we started a locking crew, and I had to audition for the locking crew myself, even though I was executive director. All of us, me, Tiff, Donna, Ira, all these OG, we were all leaders already, but if we wanted to be part of the locking crew, we also had to like audition for that and join that. But we learned that even though we were all exposed to locking, by that time we all had done locking. Like I'd done locking with Kaba Modern. They had done locking with other teams that they were a part of. We realized that we still needed more foundational training. So we had like two coaches, Victor and Noel, who we knew from outside Culture Shock. And they trained us for like 2 years straight. And we realized that I started off as a freestyle dancer in the park.
Yeah.
And then by high school, I really got strong at choreography. And by the time I was directing Culture Shock, I'd been so strong with choreography that I started losing my freestyle confidence. So we were all like learning locking foundations, drills and stuff in rehearsals. But how we became ready is we started going to the funk club on Thursdays after Thursday rehearsals for Culture Shock, because we realized that we just need to go out to the club and just make our own cypher because we're nervous, and then just have a safe space to kind of just exchange with each other and hopefully get better, because at that time our freestyle felt very repetitive. Like we felt like we're doing the same moves over and over because we're nervous.
I get that.
You know how that is, right? Like you're in your head, you know. And one time we were at this club called Larchmont, and this guy with a big black top hat came and danced with us and said, "You guys are the most fun cypher, you know, the most fun cypher, because we were like the beginner cypher that welcomed everyone and celebrated everyone. The other ones were like heated, you know." And he danced with us all night, and when the lights came on, I said, we said, "What's your name?" And said, "I'm Don Campbell." And we were like, "Oh my God, crazy. Don Campbell, the creator of locking."
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, and he was so kind. And at that time, we had already taken workshops from some of the other OG lockers, like Shabadoo, Greg Campbellock Jr., Luz Caboose, some of these other, original and first generation lockers. But we had never taken from Don Campbell, and all those others, their style was very drill, and like you're not ready, you don't have the right form, you know, you have to look like the locking, like the shape and everything. And then finally you have the creator of the form saying like, "You got long arms," and I told Donna, "You got long arms, so when you lock, it's like so funky and big. Your hips are like so groovy, you have something special." And he told me, "Your smile is full of joy and it lights up the whole room." And after that, I was like, I had like a teardrop, because at that time I was like, I just, when you serve and you're in a leadership position, you don't realize how much you need your cup filled too. And in that moment, I felt like, wow, I'm seen, and I'm celebrated. And so he became a mentor to all of us from that point on, because by that point he loved us so much that he would just come to Culture Shock rehearsals and just hang out with us sometimes. Every H4
I remember him coming.
I think when you guys were kids,
we were
like a lot of these kids current didn't get the chance. I mean, he just hung out with y'all when you were kids.
I remember.
Yeah, anything we need, a discussion panel. I hire also when I worked for HHI as a judge. I made sure that I hired all these OGs, especially Don Campbell, because if I'm in a position to give back, I think that's like super important. You know, so that is probably my biggest dance mentor is Don Campbell. Not just for the artistry, and I mean he's just a legend. Like when you look at him, he's the bomb, you know. And he obviously is a trailblazer, but it's also his spirit, his loving, compassionate spirit, and how he chose to affirm people and let people know something special about them. That's like kind of his superpower, you know, when you meet him. Yeah. So that shaped me a lot as a dancer, I would say. Yeah.
Oh no, go ahead.
So locking is a big part of who you are, and I'm assuming it's your favorite style, right?
So that's one of my favorite. That's one. The other one would be hip hop social dances. As you know, you guys. I've taught you guys that a lot too. The newest ones that I enjoy now, because I feel like as you grow up through life, you'll always love dance, and dance will always be a part of your life, but your relationship to dance changes. And so, you know, at first it's like, I want to be a sponge, just learn everything. Then you're like, I want to find, you know, what is actually me, right? And then you want to go deeper with those art forms. Sometimes you want to be a creative, sometimes you want to be competitive, and then after a while you're like, oh, I don't feel like competing anymore. I just want to express and make art. You know, I'm in the phase right now where I love teaching, but I also love being a student. So two art forms I'm working on right now is light feet.
I'm actually really interested in that. I want to, like, I'm trying to find communities where I can learn.
Okay, I'll tell you later.
Really? Yeah.
Well, you're still a minor, but when you're when you're 18, I'll let you, because there's some sessions at a park. But they're at nighttime, so maybe when you turn 18, you can start going. So light feet I love because it just fits, like, it fits the hypeness of hip hop social dances and locking too. Yes. So it's kind of like my vibe, you know. And I love house, because house during the pandemic, we were like, house is the opposite of what we experienced in the pandemic, right? House is about connection and freedom, and you know, in the pandemic we were like trapped in our houses, and we couldn't really like even hug people, which is wild, you know. So I craved house during the pandemic, and so I'm still a student. I'm still beginner in house too. But those are the two art forms that right now like feed my soul. And I'll always love locking, and I'll always love hip hop social dances. But it's also those dance art forms are kind of our languages for our personal experiences, and because you know the world is kind of crazy right now, and there's a lot of, you know, struggles. It's sometimes hard to say like, oh, locking is like the right one when I'm feeling like mad or I'm feeling frustrated. The hip hop will serve me, but I need something else. So that's kind of, I think, why house is kind of serving that, and light feet too. So, but locking will always be a special part of it. Part of it is because of the joy and the celebration and the unity of it, but also when I met Don Campbell was a time where I was just pouring all my energy out to other people, from Kaba Modern to Culture Shock LA. That I even put my own personal life, because after locking unleashed my liberation, where I even came out as a queer person. Really? You know what I mean? Because it really celebrates you being who you are. I didn't expect that, but a year after Don Campbell told me that, I came out.
Wow.
Yeah, and that was like the beginning of like, you're enough. You deserve your freedom. You know what I mean? It's time to pour into yourself.
So that was like a really big perspective switch for you, because like you were thinking like, oh, it has to be like perfect form for that. How did that did that change any way you moved as a leader, or like you brought yourself as a leader in that role?
You know, it's so funny because mentorship's interesting, because sometimes they're older than you. Like Don Campbell was, you know, like a pioneer and trailblazer. But sometimes your mentors are the people like right next to you. And so for Culture Shock, when I was offered the executive directorship, it was in 2003. I had just finished my doctorate program at USC for occupational therapy. And I was ready at that point to take everything I learned and put it into something. And then I was offered the executive directorship for Culture Shock LA. I only said that I would do it if I get to pick my own directors, right? And they said yes, I could start from scratch. And then I also said in my mind, like I have a dream team in mind. I'm gonna ask. I have a list. And I said if all of them say yes, that's my sign that I'm supposed to do this.
Oh,
so I asked,
wow.
So I asked this guy named Dave Magno, who's good at like digital marketing. He's like good at like creating that. He said yes. I asked my best friend Ira, who's really good at marketing in general. He had just graduated with marketing from Pepperdine, and he was working for LinkedIn at the time. So he's
really?
like
Wow.
doing such great things. So he said yes. Then Tiffany Bong, I asked her to be the youth programs director because I knew I wanted to create Mini Shock, Mighty Shock. You know, we had to create it.
Yeah.
It didn't exist yet.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, so we created Mini Shock, Mighty Shock, Future Shock, and then we'll talk later about Awesome Shock. And then the fourth one was Dennis Kaindek. He for artistic. He said yes. And so, and then the fifth, who's the fifth one? Oh, Allison.
Oh, yeah.
I asked
Yeah.
Allison Tanaka. I said, would you be our admin director? Because she's so good with grants and you know details. And she said yes. So I was like, I guess we're gonna do this,
Wow, so
right?
They all said yes, like
They
you said.
all said
Wow.
yes. I called them my dream team. And even though I was executive director, we all mentored each other because when you create something from scratch, like we rewrote the bylaws, we created, we did our own method for auditions. As leaders, we created H4, we created the benefit show, we launched all of the youth programs. So when you're in creation mode, you need to like lean into the talents of all these people. And the reason I asked them is because we all have different talents, so they're also, I consider them all mentors too, even though they're all younger than me, because we all had something to offer each other and learn from each other. And we're all like close forever and ever and ever, like to this day, because those were just really exciting times. It was really hard, but it was also really exciting. And things like this, where you see kids that are 5 and 6 year old going up to these amazing, not just amazing dancers, but amazing human beings like you two are, and all your peers. Like you all have that in common, right? Like you're all dope dancers, but also like kind people, right? Who are gonna make a positive difference in the world. That's the reward. The performances are icing on the cake. The events and the performances are just vehicles to us becoming the best versions of ourselves, right? Like the benefit show is really about the experience. The art is amazing, but it's really the experience, like what we learn, how we're inspired, how we get to have that moment on stage together. So when I see y'all, like, whether it's just, on performing or competing or doing little TikToks and stuff, or even just hanging out, like when I see all these generations of Shock Fam hanging out, that makes me feel like we did something right.
Yeah, just performing and connecting with my friends on stage, like even if it's a competition or the benefit show, like that's where I'm the most happiest, and that's the best part of it, the whole experience, honestly.
And then I see you all doing it in other spaces, like in
so
OSHA,
many.
because you're like
Shock
leaders
Fam,
there too.
Mm-hmm.
And then I see there is a difference, you know what I mean? There is a difference between, I can see it on stage right away, people who have danced in groups and people who haven't danced in groups. And y'all are like seasoned, on how to do that, because different groups require a certain amount of adaptation and leadership, like knowing when to step up and also when to just, all right, I gotta be the best role model, right? And y'all are
Thank you.
the finest.
A lot of us are like from Shock Fam are on like Gravy now.
Yeah,
If
there's
you look,
so many.
so many.
Well,
of
that's why, like, you see me up there like screaming for a great. But also, the G Fam is like, I'm close with the G Fam in general, but especially Gravy Baby right now, because y'all are in there. Brendan's in there.
Yeah, I know.
Your brother. Wait, is your brother aged out now?
Not yet. He's got one more year, but then G or V after. But that's crazy. G or V. Wow.
So you're the founder of Awesome Shock. Could you share a little bit about what it is?
Yeah, so actually in 2014, I'm a occupational therapist at a school setting for Long Beach Unified. So we first piloted Awesome Shock as like an after-school dance therapy program for neurodivergent kiddos. So most of our kids were autistic, a couple kids with Down syndrome, and we loved it. So 2014 till last year, we would have the grant funding to keep making it free for these schools. But Andy Ho, who's a current Culture Shock member, he's been on the team for 3 years. He finished OT school as well. He's from Kaba Modern also. So like it's like the connection is so funny. So Andy Ho graduated. He's Dr. Andy Ho now.
Nice.
So we were like, hey, now that we're both finished our doctorate programs, why don't we launch it as a dance troupe? And so just this year, we decided to start a season around February, March, and then have the season go all the way till Benefit Show, and then Benefit Show be their culminating performance. And it went really amazing. We had a kind of a wide range because I think our youngest member was 6.
Wow.
And then our oldest was 27.
No way. That's crazy.
And it was really magical because we were able to take everything we know about dance education and combine it with occupational therapy approaches to make this like dance program, this dance troupe program, like a safe space, but also challenge them to do, not just freestyle, which is freestyle's amazing, but also learn, different dance art forms, the history, the heritage, and also learn choreography as well. So we were like, and then also learn to work together because they some of them come from other dance spaces, but they hadn't been part of like a hip hop and locking and breaking, I mean, that is hip hop, but hip hop and locking focused like dance troupe. So they loved it. The parents again were also amazing. I think I mentioned earlier, like your parents are amazing. When you have supportive parents, then that really helps bolster like a youth program and make it really, really incredible. So so rewarding. We have our end of the season banquet this weekend already. Our first cohort, and working with Andy Ho is like so seamless and easy because we're both like leaders, so I could turn off and he could take it, and I have no fears, and same thing back and forth. We could like cover each other, we could work together. So it's just so easy. So my plan is to do one more season this coming season, and then next summer I will retire fully from it and pass it over to a new director. I think I'm also at this phase of my life that anytime I take a leadership position, I also think about the exit plan. So when I take something that like a responsibility, I think in my mind, like, how many years could I imagine doing that? And then saying it up front. And then if it ends up being more, that's just like extra, like, icing on the cake. But if it ends up being just that, then everyone's clear on like, how much I have to give, and also how important it is to train the next, not waiting to the last minute. Because I think it's healthier, and that's not something I learned. Like in Culture Shock, it was like never ending. You just there as long, and then all of a sudden you're like, wow, it's been 20 years, 25 years. Now I've learned at this time in my life that it's just so good for everyone to. When you begin something, just have an approximate, like, how many years do I think, I will want to be a part of this organization as a leader.
That's smart.
I think as a dancer.
Tune into part 2 of our talk with Arnel. You don't want to miss a surprise.